I am back with something a little different today. We are not talking about the big popular titles or the games everyone already knows about. Today, we are digging into the hidden gems, usually underrated, overlooked, and just plain weird games sitting on Steam right now for basically nothing. Every single game on this list is under $1 or just barely above it. First up, we got Postal 2, which isn't super underrated, but it's 90% off at just 99 cents, and there is genuinely no other game on Steam quite like it. You play as the postal dude, just trying to get through his weekly errands, picking up a paycheck, returning library books, but every single task can be done peacefully or in the most violently chaotic way imaginable. It's crude, weird, frequently hilarious, and one of the most unique open-world sandboxes ever made. Or you can go with a more classic Postal Redux, 88% off at $1, and this is the modernized remake of the original Postal, the game that started the whole Notorious franchise. It's a top-down twin-stick shooter where you're fighting through waves of increasingly unhinged enemies across chaotic levels. Redux cleans up the original significantly with better controls and visuals, while keeping that signature deranged energy. Then we got Tomb Raider Legend. This game's forgotten by the newbies, but it's 86% off at 97 cents, and this is the game that rebooted the entire franchise back in 2006. It had faster movement, slick acrobatic combat, and that perfect mix of exploration, platforming, and puzzle solving across stunning locations: Bolivia, Japan, Nepal, Ghana. The graphics are dated, of course, but the gameplay holds up really well, and the story involving Lara's missing mother is genuinely compelling. Next is Worms WMD, 95% off at just over $1, and this is widely considered the best Worms game in years. You got teams of cartoon worms, ridiculous weapons, destructible maps, and some of the most hilarious moments you will ever have in a multiplayer game. The WMD version adds crafting, vehicles, and buildings to the classic formula, and it works brilliantly. Playing this with friends is an absolute joy in this one, or at least used to be. Then we have Sniper Ghost Warrior 2, 90% off at also $1, and this one is for anyone who loves that feeling of lining up a perfect long-range shot. This one offers stunning jungle and urban environments across Burma, Sarajevo, and the Philippines, with realistic bullet drop and win mechanics that make every kill feel earned. It offers a pretty solid campaign, decent story, satisfying sniping from start to finish. For Lara Croft fans, we got another one. This time, Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light. 85% off at $1.49, and this is one of the most underrated games in the entire Tomb Raider universe. It's a top-down co-op action adventure where you and a friend play as Lara and an ancient Mayan warrior, and the co-op mechanics are genuinely clever, using grappling hooks as tightropes, tossing bombs to each other to solve puzzles. If you have someone to play with, this one is absolutely worth it. Next up, we got Muse Dash, 70% off at 89 cents, and this is one of the most addictive rhythm games on Steam at any price. You're tapping along to an absolutely banging soundtrack of anime and electronic tracks while colorful characters dash across the screen. And the combination of tight rhythm gameplay and incredibly charming visuals makes it genuinely hard to put down. The base game gives you a solid amount of songs to work through. Then we got Jalopy, 90% off at just over $1, and this one is unlike anything else on this list. You're driving a beat-up communist-era car through Eastern Europe with your uncle, keeping the engine alive, buying spare parts on the roadside, and slowly discovering the quiet world around you. It's slow, meditative, and oddly beautiful, a game about the journey rather than the destination. This one is absolutely worth it. Next is MotoGP 13, 90% off at 99 cents, and for motorcycle racing fans, this is a genuinely solid simulation for under $1. This one used to have those full official license, real riders, real circuits, and a handling model that rewards proper throttle control and braking technique. There's a full career mode to work through, and the racing holds up well despite the age. Next up, we got Mount Your Friends, 65% off at $1 and roughly 74 cents, and this is one of the funniest multiplayer games you will ever play with friends. You're stacking wobbly ragdoll characters on top of each other using physics-based controls that make every single movement an absolute disaster, and the results are consistently hilarious. It's the kind of game where you cannot stop laughing no matter how bad you are at it. Then we got Garfield Kart, 75% off at $1, and yes, this is a real game, and yes, it is exactly as beautifully absurd as it sounds. A full kart racing game featuring Garfield and his friends, with actual tracks, power-ups, and race modes. It is not going to beat Mario Kart, but is a fun novelty racer to mess around with, especially with friends who appreciate the sheer ridiculousness of it. Next is Roller Coaster Tycoon Deluxe, 80% off at $1, and this is a genuine classic that holds up incredibly well. One of the greatest management simulation games ever made might not look that appetizing, but yeah, you're building and running theme parks, designing roller coasters, managing staff, and watching your guests either have the time of their lives or get violently sick. The depth here is staggering for a game this old and this cheap. And closing out these editions, we got The Descendant, 90% off at $1 and change. And this is a narrative adventure game that does not get nearly enough attention. It's set in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity's last survivors are waking up from underground bunkers. The story unfolds across multiple time periods as you piece together what happened and who can be trusted. The writing is solid, the mystery keeps you engaged, and the episodic format makes it easy to play in sessions. Next up, we got Electrician Simulator, 95% off at 89 cents, and yes, it is exactly what it sounds like, and it is way more fun than you expect. You are installing wiring, fixing fuse boxes, replacing sockets. The work feels surprisingly tactile and satisfying in that same way Power Wash Simulator does. If you enjoy calming job simulators, where completing tasks just feels good, this one delivers that perfectly. Then we got Suzy Cube, 85% off at 74 cents, and this is a genuinely polished 3D platformer that deserves way more attention. Clearly inspired by classic Mario games, with tight controls, creative level design, and a bright joyful energy that just makes you smile. The quality here is honestly surprising for this price point. If you enjoy cheerful 3D platformers, this one is absolutely worth trying out. Next is Caligo, 88% off at 71 cents, and this is a short atmospheric walking sim that is worth every penny. You're navigating a dark, foggy world while uncovering fragments of a haunting story, and the eerie atmosphere it creates lingers long after you finish. It's an hour or two of your time and under $1 of your money. Then we have Swarm Lake, which is also 90% off at just 49 cents, and this is pure minimalist arcade action at its most satisfying. You get surrounded by swarms of enemies, tight controls, and that addictive one more run quality that the best arcade games always have. This one's got no pretensions, no filler, just clean fast action for 49 cents. This one is absolutely worth it. Next up, we got Road Scars Origins, 90% off at 49 cents, and this is a gritty post-apocalyptic combat racer with real attitude for under $50. This is like Mad Max style vehicular mayhem across a devastated wasteland with fighting mechanics that add depth beyond straight racing. It's kinda scrappy, aggressive, but super fun. Then we got Blackout Z Slaughterhouse Edition, which is 90% off at 49 cents, and this is a top-down zombie survival shooter that delivers exactly what it promises. You got wave after wave of zombie hordes, scavenge weapons, and that classic arcade survival loop done well. The Slaughterhouse Edition adds extra content and modes that give it solid replay value. Then we got a couple borrow games. The first is F22, which is 90% off at 49 cents. And this is a fun little arcade RC car racer with tight controls and satisfying drifts. This one's simple, accessible, and low stakes, perfect for a quick session when you just want to race without thinking too hard. Then at the same discount and price, we also got the Borrow T23, which brings its own set of tracks and vehicles to the same fun arcade racing formula. You get different track designs, slightly different vehicle roster, and the same pickup and play quality that makes the series work. Then we got this game called Soakman, which is also 90% off at 49 cents. This is a minimalist puzzle and exploration indie with a stripped-back aesthetic built around atmosphere and simple, satisfying mechanics. It is a small, honest experience from a developer finding their voice, and at 49 cents, it is worth picking up purely out of curiosity. These are just a handful of the many, many more games out there on Steam that are currently on discount. If you got more budget, which you should if you are not broke like me, check out my other list where I cover games from $1